everybody, what's up? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. I will be your host tonight for the monthly comic book review. That's right. That's where we have an esteemed panel of comic book experts and enthusiasts to talk about our favorite comic books of the month. Tonight, we're talking about our favorite comics of November. Might be some slight spoilage, but definitely some books that maybe you haven't heard of that you definitely got to check out. And we got in a great panel, including my co-pilot, it's Nick from Comic Culture. What is up, my man?
What's going on, dude? Station. How you doing, man? Glad to be here.
I'm doing good, man. I feel great, dude. Almost a year ago, we made the bold promise. We're not missing a month in 2023.
That's
Here
right.
we are, 11 for 12 so far.
Yep.
And we said we would do our part if y'all did y'all's part, and y'all nominated us for Best Comic Book YouTube Collaboration for the CBC Awards. All the votes are in. The award ceremony is Saturday night. So go check it out. Brian LCS, CBS Awards, CBC Awards. The CBS Awards are different. There's like about news networks or something. However, we're very excited to go and support these channels, and the links in the description below. Thank you for being here, Nick. Also, my other co-pilot, my co-pilot is Brian, the Brianiac. What is up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? Glad to be here. Doing good. Yeah. I'm ready.
It seems like you're ready for the football game that's an hour away.
Well, yeah, this way I don't have to change after the show.
Nice. Brian, Seahawks are playing my Cowboys tonight. So,
yep.
Ooh.
Brian thought I scheduled the show during the game on purpose.
Yep, I did. I did.
Yeah.
Hey, we're only a 9-point underdog, so, you know.
Yeah. One thing on purpose that I did do, though, is allow a longtime listener, first-time caller onto the show, but only because he got the premium package on my personal OnlyFans. So welcome, Stu from Dr. Doom's Fan Club.
Station, everyone. Robbie, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Yeah, longtime fan. You know, fingers double crossed for you guys winning this thing. This has long been a favorite show of mine. You know, even before I knew any of you guys. So yeah, hoping you guys bring it home. You definitely
also, just so you know, Stu, since the votes are already in, you don't count if we win, right? Like it's not because
that's right.
So you know. All right.
Thank you for knocking me down yet another peg, Robbie.
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Make sure Stu's face is in the mud before we get going.
Speaking of faces in the mud, it's Bearded Comic Bro. What is up, my man?
Muted.
No, don't tell him.
Yeah, don't tell him. You're muted, bro.
No, don't tell him.
Fuck. I was like, all right, that's nice. Speaking of
awesome.
Listen, dude, it has been a hot mess. I wasn't planning to be on the show. I'm here. And so I'm chowing down on food. I was like, I don't want to be eating chicken nuggets while Robbie's trying to talk and have just chicken nugget chomping in his ear. And so then I'm muted. And then Nick's like, don't tell him. And I'm like, what am I not supposed to tell Robbie here? Like, so gang, like it's going to be an experience tonight. I'm just telling you. So I'm glad the votes are already in, so I can't drag it down.
Yeah. All right. And to wrap up the panel, last but certainly not least, it's Carrie, the OUG. How you doing, Carrie?
I'm doing great, guys. I'm really excited about Saturday night. I want to see if we pull this thing out, you know?
Yeah, because if we don't win, y'all, I'm ending the show. I'm just going to be like, screw it.
Yeah, what's all this for? Yeah,
that's fair.
Over. Why are we here if not
what
for
are we doing?
Like,
but also, fingers crossed, OUG, Best Unknown Channel.
Absolutely.
You definitely got my vote, Carrie, so I think that should count for 5, but I don't know. Like, you know, I should be voting for Jelani and for Brooks, you know what I'm saying? So there you go.
Yeah, work emails, all sorts of stuff, yeah.
All right. So everybody out there in the chat, thank you for joining us. You know how we do this. The first thing we're going to do is a round of discussion about our personal favorite comic books of the year. And it's the holiday season, so I'm going to be a nice guy. Why don't you kick us off, Nick? What is your favorite comic book, not of the year, of November 2023?
Oh, man.
He's just getting ready for next month.
Wait a minute.
Hold on a second. I got to redo my list.
I'm still making that video. So we are going to start off with a book that has come back. We had a little series. We had some little spinoffs here and there. We have a lot of news about the future of this whole franchise. I'm going to go with Jeff Johns. We're going to go with Guer, Ground Zero, issue number 1. This is actually a prequel. This is a little origin story. We got a little bit of an origin story in the regular Guer issues, but after reading this one, it like brought me right back into that world again. Coming out of Junkyard Joe earlier this year as well, like we got a little taste of that world. And man, Geiger Ground Zero brought me right back into our Radioactive Man story, and it does a great job of kind of filling in new readers about like his origin story, what happened to his wife and kids, like the betrayal of his neighbors, things like that. But it also has this double story going on with these like scientists and things like that, trying to discover who this radioactive man is, trying to figure out where he is and things like that. And they're just trying to live in this world 6 months after the bombs drop. So if you're not familiar with Geiger and the whole entire story, this is a good way to catch up on that. Still would highly recommend going back and reading the original, 5 or 6 issues that came out before, getting the 80-page giant, getting that Junkyard Joe under your belt as well. But this is a really, really cool book, and it just provides a lot more context to his origin story. And I think there's another issue coming out to wrap this up before we get into the whole Ghost Machine world that they're spinning off. But absolutely love it, man. Jeff Johns' writing in this is so emotional. Like, it brought back all those original emotions that we had from the original series. And Gary Frank, dude, the art in this thing is absolutely incredible. And I actually got the original Geiger out and started flipping through it again, and I was just blown away by the artwork that he was able to do inside that series. So brought back a lot of emotions. Can't wait for the next issue and the rest from Ghost Machine, dude.
Yeah, I'm really pumped for the Ghost Machine stuff. Jeff Johns kind of creating his own superhero universe with people like Gary Frank, people like we got Jason Fabok's going to be involved in it. Of course, we already got Red Shirt's going to be Brian Hitch, right? We already have the Geiger series. We have the Junkyard Joe series, which is one of my personal favorites. Nice little Junkyard Joe Easter egg in this Geiger book, right?
Yeah.
But it was great. It was great to return to that world. And Gary Frank has been doing great artwork for a long time. But man, something has reinvigorated his work as well as Jeff Johns' work ever since Doomsday Clock. And I honestly think it's like Jeff Johns kind of stepping away from the executive DC film type stuff, being able to focus more into comics, doing his own thing, trying to create something, betting on himself. And I'm all here for it, because when they were doing Doomsday Clock, I think they studied so hard and they knew how many eyes were going to be on them. They both leveled up, and their work has been splendid ever since. Like, so top notch. What about you, Brian? You reading this one?
Oh yeah. I was late to this party. I think I jumped on when Junkyard Joe started and actually this show is directly responsible for that, because y'all were talking it up so much, and I've always loved like Gary Frank's art and you know those DC, you know, those house artists they had, you know, I mean, you know, couple years back, that it's just insane skill, you know. Because I did see the other day on Fabok's Instagram, he shared an image from his book. Man, excited.
It's gonna be good.
And but yeah, I did love this book. One thing I love, you know, I'm falling for the advertising, you know, the way they have the timeline in the back for all this other stuff. Like, I'm like, when I'm ready. You know, like, let's get on with this, because
you're like wait, Brian Hitch and Gary Frank are doing a lot of them. These books are never going to come out.
Well, right. I probably should have thought that. Yeah. They can take a little bit, but it's worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally worth it. And I think that, you know, Geiger was pretty much on time and Junkyard Joe was. So I think they're well ahead of the curve.
Well,
right?
And
let's hope.
And I heard Jeff on an interview talking about that was his hope with Ghost Machine, is they're all stepping away from a lot of their obligations that they had with their bigger 2 stuff, so that they're like, if you're a part of Ghost Machine, like, you're a part of Ghost Machine, and you're gonna be working, putting your heart and soul kind of into these things. And I think they're trying to get, when they have a release schedule, they're saying this is going to be it. So I think that's why we're seeing the April release, even with these 2 coming up, because they're like, we want to make sure that we're hitting it, because they don't have to worry about, you know, DC or Marvel publishers necessarily going, you know what, we want to get your book out before the end of the year. So let's get more. So I'm excited for it. It gives me hope.
Yeah, they get to make their own schedule. They get to know what they're doing. Right. They get to be comfortable with it. They get to take breaks between series. And I'd rather wait, you know, like I would rather wait and have the thing come out on time or come out complete than have another Doomsday Clock scenario where we're just like, well, the DC
or a Swamp Thing Green Hell,
right? Where the DC universe already moved on, and Doomsday Clock is just kind of like, what's the point of it, right? What about you, Stu? You reading Geiger?
I have read the original series. I haven't read this one, but I read the original series, and I love Junkyard Joe. I really thought that was just a fantastic comment. I thought Frank, you know, said so much in there with like kind of sparse dialogue, and some of those issues were just moved along by his art, and he just did such a beautiful job, I thought, with that book. But I'm looking forward to getting into this. I agree with what you said. I think John's is kind of reinvigorated, kind of getting back to brass tacks, grassroots type thing. I like that he's building his own thing, and I'm really excited to see where this universe goes.
Absolutely. What about you, Greg?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Reading this, loved Guer. I was late to the Junkyard Joe party because I didn't realize it was in the same universe. And then like Brainiac, this was this was my show that kind of was like, oh dang it, I'm on the show, I better read Junkyard, and it was great. So this whole timeline, what they're bringing with Redcoat and all of these characters, I think it's going to be something fun. I feel like this. I don't want to say like it's my image, but it's kind of like my chance now as a collector to hop on with kind of like some big names who are saying, hey, let's do something exciting. Because I kind of have missed those waves as a collector because I did it as a kid and then I was out and now I'm back. And so like I'm kind of like, all right, these are some of my favorite artists. So to get to be a part of them and Jeff Johns writing, like I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Carrie? You reading Geiger?
This is one of those moments where I am not reading it, but like it's sitting here like my boyfriend reads it. So like I wish there was these moments whenever he's reading something that you guys have read that I haven't, and he just jump in and be like, okay, yeah. So like I love this. But sadly he is not here. But no, I actually really love I can comment on Jeff Johns actually. I really love his JSA. Yeah. So if that's any indication, then as my boyfriend would say, I am missing out on this one.
Yeah, but you're right though. His JSA work is good, and basically, while he's building his own universe, he's also kind of setting up a new golden age for DC, and I've been totally into it this entire time. Speaking of into it, what about you, Brian? What's your favorite book of the month?
I'm gonna go with Swan Songs 5.
You bastard! That's what I get when I'm a nice guy. And I let people go.
I knew that one was coming.
That was my pick. Just so
yeah.
Was it? You want me to pick another one? I don't mind.
No, I want you to go ahead and explain what Hedatonio. I forgot the name of the.
It's Anadonia.
Okay, there you go.
It's the end of Anadonia, which people watching the show should be familiar with this series by now. But they're one shots. It's called Swan Song, so it's the end of something. This one is the end of Anadonia. I recommend every other issue in this series, and I'm sure the last one is going to be awesome too. But this one's obviously the Anadonia is the inability to feel joy or happiness. Commonly the depression is basically what it is, and this is it definitely captures the emotion, the emotions and feelings behind Anadonia, and main character goes to a therapist, puts him in a trance, and the primary selling point of this issue for me, besides the themes and everything, is the art is just wild, especially when he's in these trance things. So good. And because it's mixed media too, which because some of the stuff straight up collages and everything like that, and it all works. I mean, it's like, and this is where it first starts getting wild, where you're just kind of seeing a little bit start here with the eyes, and it just gets wilder and wilder as you go, and then the end is just great. I mean, it's when you're when you're reading, well, when I read W. Maxwell Prince, I have to be prepared because I'm always going to have a period of time after I read that issue where I can't read or think about anything else.
Is it like when one does say like psychedelics, you got to make sure you're in the right set and setting or something like
almost, yeah.
You don't want to bring the bad
mind.
Yeah, you don't want to bring the bad shit in, from the beginning, right? So but yeah, honestly, it was very difficult for me this month to pick a favorite. I thought there was a lot of really good books this month, man.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if it was because there was a lot of good ones or you didn't like them.
No, man. There was so much.
They all so
much. People are dropping some really good ones in the chat too. So
yeah. And there were 5 weeks this month, so we had some extra flavor, right? You know what I'm saying? Swan Songs is amazing. Y'all know I'm a big fan of that book. Many of those issues have made my picks of the week. I think it's one of my top series of the year. And this has been my favorite issue yet because slight spoilers here, but the dude's like going through, what is it? Anhedonia? Is that what it's called?
Anhedonia.
Again?
Yeah.
Right. Which is, like basically kind of depression. You derive pleasure from nothing. Right. And the end result, spoilers slightly, is he finds out that you have to kind of almost revert to experiencing life as a child, where everything is filled with potential and possibilities. And he finds his inner child within him. And he's like, what did we used to like? And he goes, everything. Yeah. Everything was amazing. And then it ends with him going to the candy store, right? And then the guy's like, oh man, my weight, blah, 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 blah. But that is something you kind of have to come to life. The older you get, the more I think essential it is to have that childlike sense of wonder and possibility about life. We apply the significance to the events of our lives. So let's make those significant events extravagant. Yeah, I don't know. That's how I want to live my life. How about you, Stu? You reading Swan Songs? You better.
I love Swan Songs, man. I haven't read this particular issue. I haven't got to my LCS. This is this week's. That dropped. Yeah, I haven't got this particular one. The ad libs one last month was kind of like the weaker one. I thought of the bit, but like the Felipe Andrade story was incredible.
Oh yeah.
And I forget who the artist was on the one before that, but yeah, I W. Maxwell Prince is one of those writers who's
Wingard was the one on issue 2.
Wingard,
right? Yeah,
absolutely, yeah,
that was so good.
But he's top of the heap for me, and I think we need writers like this who can challenge the art form, challenge the way we write about the human condition, make it as like Brian said, you gotta pull over and think about it for a minute after you read a Prince comic, and artists like that are necessary. Especially, more and more each day when everything's getting more everything's starting to look more and more the same, especially at the big two. So I think like standout artists and writers like this are essential, and he's definitely one of my favorites.
And one of the best parts of this issue in particular is at the end when it's like next issue, the end of a sidewalk. Also it's an Ice Cream Man tie-in. And you're like, like, haha, did the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Jen would say, haha, did the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was very cool that he's kind of building his own world and he doesn't have to like ghost machine it. Nothing wrong with ghost machining it, but he's able to build his own world on his own, right? With his little properties. What about you, Greg? You reading Swan Songs?
Absolutely reading it. However, this was at the bottom of my stack this week because I was waiting to read it. And I kind of put off my my to read list a little bit this week because I wasn't expected to be on tonight. And so once you asked, I'm cruising through, and then and then I had to go do dad stuff, and I'm like, shoot. I'm like, I missed Swan Song. I know we're gonna talk about it. And so, yeah, that's where we're at.
That's fine.
Right.
It's good.
Yeah, it's really good. Totally worth it. Carrie, what about you?
Okay, so like I got this yesterday and I read it I read Detective, then this. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, because I knew based on other reviews that this was going to be a heavy one, especially for someone that I'm diagnosed of depression. So there's different kinds of depression, different types of psychological, issues that relate to this. However, this is slightly different. But still that whole, like where you go for time periods when you have depression and it's hard to grab joy from anything. And I also, when I read this, like the thing that kept on popping out to me was, I don't know what it was, but I kept on thinking of the Breakfast Club. So I'm assuming, gentlemen on the panel and people in the chat, y'all have lived long enough to see the Breakfast Club.
Oh, only about 39 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's this moment in the Breakfast Club and they're all sitting in a circle on the floor. And they're all like, are we just going to become like our parents and that kind of thing? And Ellie Sheedy's character is like, it's inevitable. When you grow up, your heart dies. And like this guy goes and he finds the kid locked in a safe in his childhood home. And it's this kid that can find joy, and he's finding joy in all the things that he mentioned in the beginning of the story that he doesn't find joy in anymore, like roller coasters, birthday parties, that kind of thing. And just, it made me think of that moment in The Breakfast Club where they're like, when you grow up, your heart dies.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't care. Who cares? And Ali Sheedy's character is like, well, I care. And it just made me think of that. And that's why it sticks out to me. And it was definitely in my stack to talk about as well.
Absolutely. What about you, Nick? I know you're reading this one.
Oh God, yeah. It's one of my favorite series out right now for sure. There's two things that stood out for me in this one, just the art and the mixed media that he was using. Brian, you were showing a page right there. It's up in the beginning where it looks like the pages are torn. There's like a 3D effect to it with shading and stuff. I stared at that page forever and I was like, how the hell? You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to like figure out from an artist's perspective, like how you're pulling that off. I don't know if it's digital or whatever, but it's just, it looks absolutely brilliant. Like how he was able to do some of that work in there too. It was great. But W. Maxwell Prince in general, he's kind of a writer that I lean towards that type of writing, more existential, more about the feelings and emotions and things like that. I'm falling more towards that than any other type of writing I feel in the last couple of years. And he's able to pull out these different emotions that people have that they might not even know they have. It's almost like going to therapy, right? Like if you're going through your life and you're not really thinking about anything and you have the normal wear and tear that life throws at you, you read a book like this and it really pulls out these things you never even knew you had in you. And it's scary, but it's like a revolution at the same time. So this was a really good reminder to take a step back, enjoy the little things, try to bring some more joy in your life, break out of the normal routines. You got it good. You had it good. Bring that back and just try to be a happier person. So, yeah, great book, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. And eat more candy. Eat more candy.
Eat more candy.
It was like, and it's not just for yourself too, right? I mean, because like say you have it, it helps you like understand what other people are going through too. Like, you know, because like some of these aren't that, that common, but you know what I mean? Like, so it, you may not be able to, you may not have experienced it, right? But it can help you like relate and everything like that. But yeah, I didn't realize, going deep into it, but yeah, I've definitely had moments where I've had to remind myself, like, that's why I liked the way he laid it out, was because I've had moments in my life where I realized I had to go back, to get back to that, and so it's just great stuff. So,
sometimes the way forwards is backwards, but we're not talking about you comic book movies. You need to do something different. Okay. All right, there you go. All right, Stu, you are up, man. What is your favorite comic book of
No pressure?
Word. I'm going with Traveling to Mars #9.
Bastard.
Absolutely love this one. Mark Russell, I think on social media said this might be the best book he's ever written. I kind of have to agree. I thought this was a simply profound issue, as most of this book has been. But this whole back and forth between Roy, now on Mars, and this robot who's essentially sent out a false flag signal that there were these natural deposits of gas when there weren't, just because he was lonely. And as we kind of get to it at the end, I love this, the robot bringing him to the pile of other rover androids that, that these other robots take the parts of to keep on living. And, the narration talk about how, some people don't want God so much as a witness to their suffering. There's just been so many profound lines like that throughout this series that have really just made me pause and reflect. I just think it's been a wonderful exploration on, our relationships with each other, relationships with the world, with other worlds, with the universe at large. That awful sense of malaise and failure that can kind of hang over everything. There was a line, and I've shared this with Nick, but I wanted to share from issue 5 at the beginning. He's talking about fixing Albert, the android who had gone out on the outside of the space shuttle and gotten messed up and was PTSD, and he's talking in this binary code. He's not talking right. And he said the ship had been equipped with, this is the narration of Roy, the ship had been equipped with replacement brains for the rovers for events such as these. I considered replacing Albert's chip, but that would mean rebooting him from scratch, taking from him his memories, which in the end is all any of us have. He said, besides, it's usually the damage that makes us interested. I mean, lines like that, it's just like, dude, just reminds you what a comic, like we're talking about with Prince, how far a comic book can really reach into your soul and and bring something out. You know, I'd expect lines like that or feelings like that reading, you know, classic literature or books that, you know, some of my favorite books, like to get in moments like this from a comic book has just been, you know, issue after issue has been really special. So shout out to Mark Russell.
See, Stu, you just did a great job because you just gave me FOMO because I was into this book, so into it. And here's the portion of the show where I complain and bitch and moan about Diamond for just a second. Diamond shorted me like 2 issues in a row or something like that. So I kind of fell out of it and I just haven't gotten back into it. And I made the decision, I'll just wait and trade weight it. And hearing you talk about that, like just like, damn it. Like that's when I definitely, because I was enjoying the hell out of that book. I mean, the first issue involved Huntsville, Alabama, my town.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Absolutely.
So all they had to do was just put a little Rockin Robbie in there anyway. But you know, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. But no, that was a really good pick. And you got me definitely wanting to check my websites. You know, I think I've moved my, is it Ahoy or is it a Blaze?
It's a Blaze.
It's a Blaze.
See, that's the issue. A Blaze is only available through Diamond. Anyway, speaking of bitching and moaning about Diamond, Greg, are you?
I thought you were gonna say I've only available through Diamond, but
Greg's
I
only
am
available through Diamond.
I am. You guys know I'm a big Mark Russell stan. Like, this is. I will say though, I disagree. I don't think this is his best thing he's ever written. It's
Fair
really,
enough.
really good.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Stu. I'm disagreeing with Mark. So, I mean, he wrote. I mean, Flintstones. How can you come on?
Yeah.
But what
I love
love
One
about
Star Squadron. I thought that was a slept on,
right,
great mini.
Absolutely,
Hilarious.
that was great.
Yep.
Yeah.
What I love about this series is it does stuff differently than. This is what's beautiful about having all these different publishers, I think, because I think Mark Russell said it's an 11 issue story. I had to just look it up because I knew it was a weird number. He's ending at 11. Mark Russell can only do that because A, he's Mark Russell, and B, it's at a Blaze. Like, I don't think anywhere else is like, yeah, okay. Like DC would not be like, yeah, cool, we'll do an 11 issue series. Like, there's like, no, we need that 12. We need that nice and tight. We need this, or they'd want him to move this story along. And I think to be able to be at the pace he's been able to tell it and just be a slow journey throughout this traveling to Mars for what we got there, this issue. So 9 issues basically to get to Mars. I think it's just been a really well thought out idea for Mark to just explore something unique and different and doing what he does always of talking about humans but it's a little nice breather from his satires of so much of like with Rumpus Room or Billionaire Island to get a little different look. It's still talking about some of those things, but it's not in your face as much as those are. So it was it's been a nice fresh breath of seeing the vast talent that Mark has.
Yeah, I like to picture, by the way, when he's pitching this and they go, well, Mark, we could do 6 or we could do 8 issues. We could commit to that. But he goes, well, these go to 11. I just Spinal Tap reference. Speaking of going to 11, what about you, Carrie? You reading this one?
I am trade weighting this as well. However, I do want to make a comment, even out of context as a writer, even out of context, that line that Stu just gave us. As a writer, you strive for having even a remote possibility of having a line like that. Just kind of pop out of your head and onto the screen, So I gotta say props to that line right there because
Absolutely.
Yeah. When you come up with one of those ones, it really hits you and you feel so good. Like I came up with one that I thought was so profound. Other people don't, but it was a line I did lyrically in one of my songs. And I said, you understand we're at the mercy of the fates, but the fates spin their fabric from the choices that we make. Like I always thought that was a really good line.
It.
Yeah,
I dig it. I dig it.
It's a good line. It's a good line. Speaking of a good line, if you ever run into Nick at a bar, he's got some good lines to throw your way, right? What about you, buddy? First of all, what's your sign? And second of all, what'd you think about this book?
We're gonna go right to the book because my sign's a secret one. But this is an amazing book, and I absolutely love it. It's like one of my favorite books that comes out every single time it hits the shelf. So those kinds of lines, you see that probably 2 or 3 times per issue, and they're the kind of lines that when you hit them, you pause. The dude's like a poet in this book, and it's absolutely insane. And I mentioned before with the W. Maxwell Prince with Swan Songs, he's another one of those writers where like you have to take a pause and just kind of digest what you just read. And he has a great way of combining a couple different stories in here. Not only are we going through his experience on Mars and this recent betrayal that he just underwent, but he also has a great way of tying it into like a childhood memory, and it just draws you right into the story. And it's always like tragic and sad and depressing, but it always makes you feel good at the end because he has some way of like interpreting that story and applying it to his current situation. It's unbelievable. It's just such a great book. And I want to believe that we were talking about how he was pitching the story. I want to believe that he told them, I have a story that's 11 issues long. And we were talking about before about other publishers putting a cap or telling, no, we need 6, we need 8. I want writers to tell a story for as long as it needs to be told. Like, I want them to say, this is an 11-issue story. It's not a 16-issue story. It's not an 8-issue story. It's 11 issues because I feel I need that amount of time to breathe. And I got to think that that's where we are. Some people would think this is a slow burn. Perhaps I can see that point of view, but I'm enjoying every single issue, and it's just brilliant.
Well, Slow Burn's another book. It's from Boom Studios.
That's true. Issue 2 is coming out. Yeah.
And on the other end of that, like, you know, like you don't want too long of a book series because then you got people sitting there and saying this was a filler issue. Oh, fuck that. You know, like I hate that. I hate that. I've seen other writers that like this is filler. I put my heart and soul into this. Well, no, like, that's you don't.
But sometimes you do just want to be like
explaining your fucking filler. You know,
you're 100% right. And filler issues, like issues in between, right, or big moments, like that's totally valid. Like, look at Preacher, right? Preacher went as long as it needed to, 66 issues plus some specials or something. And there's plenty of times where I was like, this feels like a filler story, but I was still engaged with the story, right? But sometimes you do have to be like, no, Mr. King, I'm sorry you put your heart and soul into that. That was a filler issue, maybe a filler series. I got to dig in it. Tom King.
Well, you know what I mean, though. Like,
I know what you mean.
Sure. Like if he was forced to go to like 12 issues, then there'd be one of those like needless things happening in a needless issue.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. 100%.
You never get that sense in this series, which is
the reason, by the way, why filler issues started was because there would be these like, what did they call them? Like file issues where they would have somebody do an issue just in case the schedule started sliding. Cause that's why like back in the 80s and 90s, you'd just be like, that was a random fucking issue. And that's literally what it was. It was just like, fuck, they're late, put it out. Because back in the day, for some reason, publishers cared about getting their books out on time. It was weird. It's really, really weird. And then Image
and in order. And
in order. Yeah, exactly. Some remember when Spawn had some issues early on that came out of order because Todd McFarlane was too late. Anyway.
Well, the whole Birds of Prey thing, Birds of Prey 1, there's like a moment in Birds of Prey 1 where they're like, this takes place after Green Arrow 6. And it was like, we just got Green Arrow 6. Like, apparently, spoiler alert.
That's a micromanaging editor right there, Carrie. That's what that is. Speaking of micromanaging, what about you, Brian? What are you thinking about this book? I know you like Mark Russell.
I absolutely love Mark Russell, and this is making me feel like a bad Mark Russell fan because I missed this book when it came out somehow. I didn't realize it was a Mark Russell book, and then when y'all started talking about it, I'm going to have to trade weight because, like, I mean, yeah, I absolutely love Mark Russell, and just listening to y'all talk about it, yeah, I'm missing out too. But I did back I backed his Kickstarter a little bit ago where he did his own cartoons, and I did the tier where you would get a piece of original art, and it showed up a week ago. So it's
that's awesome.
I did artist choice, so I got a cat getting caught stealing a sandwich.
Perfect.
From Mark Russell.
So what'd you get, Greg?
I got the book. I didn't pay extra for art.
You could have got a cat eating a sandwich.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Something better.
That's awesome, though.
Great picks, Stu, man. All around across the board.
Thank you.
All right, Greg, what about you? What's your pick of the month?
You know, you guys have picked a lot of my picks already, so I'm gonna go a little wild card here. I'm gonna throw out a DC book. One of the big two.
As long as it's not Wonder Woman, we're fine.
No, I'm throwing out Batman Offworld.
Fuck yeah, that's one of mine.
Issue number 1. I feel like I was going in with hesitation, which I shouldn't have because it's Jason freaking Aaron writing the book. first time on Batman, but I was like, Batman in space. I was just like, I don't know about this. But then you read it, and it is the most Batman book there can be, because it's like Batman early on in his career, and it just is like, he's like, okay, I've studied under everybody who's top tier and like on Earth, and then like he encounters the aliens, and he's like, shoot, I got to go figure out how to beat aliens now. Like, that's the most Batman thing to do ever. And Jason Aaron doing it with then Doug's art is beautiful to see Batman just fighting aliens and like trying to figure it out. And it's just such a good story that I'm like, I was not expecting it to go that way. And but I love this, that he's kind of trying to learn, and you know, he's captured onto this ship, and he's fighting this almost like type of robot at the end, which is like something from Incredibles, where it learns everything about you, and and he's just like trying to learn and grow so he can just be Batman when it comes to having to deal with aliens. It's so good.
Right. It's so good. The art is tremendous. The coloring is bold,
the colors are
brilliant,
crazy.
and popping. And dude, one of my favorite moments of the year is in this book, when Batman like hits this dude with like 10,000 volts, right? He hits this dude with all this electricity and energy. Dude just stands there. The next, you turn the page, Batman's on the fucking ground, and the captions are like, I hit him with 10,000 volts. He didn't flinch. He hit me 3 times.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's like the first one broke my nose. The second one,
I'm
Right,
surprised
he knew he was hit a
third one
third
didn't kill
time,
me.
even though he passed out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because he's
like, I only
Batman.
remember the first two.
Yeah,
Like,
but I only remember the first two. I love it. Carrie, did you read this one?
I did read it. I wasn't going to read it, and Bizarro Fit there is in the comments, and he's like, you have to read it. It's Batman. And well, I can't argue with that logic. So I read it.
Logic.
Well, you can tell him there was only 18 Batman books this fucking month, dude. Come on, man.
No, so like he got it. I had no intention on reading it, and he got it, and he's like, space stuff, and it's Batman. So he read it, and he's like, no, you have to read it. You have to read it. You have to read it. Kept bothering me about it, and it's a good thing he did, because then I could talk about it. I think it was all right. I'm gonna read issue 2. I had one problem. Batman kills someone. It's an alien.
But if they're alien wizards or Nazis or robots, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was a robot.
You know, and that's I saw flesh there. I saw some blood. So maybe I'm misremembering or whatever, but like, Batman killed someone. That's not Batman.
Well, you don't want to watch Batman 89 then, for sure. I'll
See,
tell you that.
with the chainsaw, I thought that was it. Yes, you're right. It looks like blood, but it looks like a robot. So I chalked it up as like robot blood. Like it doesn't look like a body in there. That's my take.
Yeah, I don't imagine editorial being like, or Jason Aaron being like, I'll do it under one condition: Batman kills some aliens.
I'm just looking at the chat to make sure Billy isn't in here, because he would be triggered completely because we mentioned Jason Aaron.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He already ruined Frank. Now we're gonna ruin Bruce, right? Bobby says, but he felt really, really bad about it, you know. So, what about you, Nick? Did you read this one?
No. What's funny is a few of you have said I was hesitant to pick this one up. I was hesitant as well to pick this one up, and I think I was the only one who didn't pick it up. So now it's on my radar. So I got to go back to the shop and see if it's still around.
So good. You'll love the artwork. First of all, it's like amazing, dude.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm glad
Very
you
well
recommended
told.
it.
You picked this one up, right, Brian?
Yeah, I was hesitant as well. But that teaser they had in the back of some of the issues leading up to it, that art and those colors, I was definitely willing to take a chance on it. You know, just from that alone, because it was just so gorgeous. It was only 4 or 5 pages, but yeah, I'm glad you all brought up the coloring, man, because that just like, man, I don't know, it just hits you in the face. Yeah. It's so good.
It's the kind of superhero comics I want, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, killing aliens and robots and everything. No, I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, it's effectively problem solving, right? I mean, you're just watching them like figure it out.
Yeah, no shit. What about you, Stu? What did you think? Did you read this one?
Yeah, I read it, loved it. I agree with what Greg said. It is like meta Batman. It is like the most meta Batman story. But yeah, it was great, dude. Monkey's art. I love the like how it ends with him like with the punch bot. The punch bots have always been servile, and like he's like, you mean punch bot can punch back, and he's gonna learn like all the teach me every fighting style you ever learn in the galaxy.
I hope that motherfucking robot puts on a yellow cape, bruh, and a domino mask and starts running around with Bruce.
That would be amazing. But yeah, I love this one, man. I can't wait to see where it goes. How many issues is this? Do y'all know?
5 or 6? Something like that. 6.
Okay.
6 sounds right.
They've been doing customary, like with these kind of things, like 6 issues. With these like special miniseries. It's been,
Maybe it will go to 11.
Maybe. It's saying on previews that it's 6.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
Right.
This we don't need to have like a 25 issue Batman in space.
Sure.
Or do we? If it's this level, we'll see where we go. Because Jason Aaron's really good at issue number 1.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Because
But this is his first Batman story, right?
yes.
Yeah. So like it's probably just like, it's gonna be like 6 issues, like preview said, but that would be what I would guess too.
Yeah. And it's definitely the right character in the right situation for Jason Aaron to write. I'm glad they didn't just go, Jason Aaron, do a very sentimental Superman story. What? That wouldn't work. This is right in his wheelhouse.
Well, he is doing Action Comic in January, so it'll be interesting to see what his Superman.
Yeah, I heard about that too. We'll see.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got action coming up.
Yeah. What about you, Carrie? What's your pick of the month?
Ooh, guys, let's get naughty. Let's get naughty with this one.
I think.
Oh boy.
Oh.
That's my other pick. That's my number 2.
Oh.
I'll never go last again.
Hey, you know what, Robbie? Here's the thing. You should only blame yourself. You want to know why? Because I had no intention on reading this. And I saw your review.
You getting all hot and bothered in the review got you convinced you.
This is like guys, this is I read this on Thanksgiving. That's how fun this was. Okay, so like we got like these Puritans, right? And they're in the middle of like the witch trials type era and everything like that. And like there's this woman that's actually like the witch finder general's whatever's wife. She starts having these naughty dreams about the dude whose wife just is about ready to get killed and gets killed in the issue for being a witch. She's having naughty dreams involving him. And I love sometimes when artists change in a book, it's jarring. But what I love is when they can actually make good use of it, where it's like it changes the feeling. And they did that with this, where when she's awake, it's very much one artist. When she's asleep and dreaming and having these sexual dreams involving this like sexy demon dude, that it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I really loved this book. The artwork is amazing. Tula Lote, Becky Cloonan, writing it together, drawing it together. Those styles could not be further apart. One is very like straight and angular, and the other one's very like flowy and ethereal, right?
Dreamy.
And very dreamy. And they work together. It is a steamy book. There's a lot of nice steamy scenes in there. I like the idea. A lot of it could come across as there's boobies. A lot of it could come across as tropey, but they play with these ideas in a different kind of way than a lot of these kind of similar stories that would come out. And I see the name changes. I know a lot of people have their issues about the size. Whatever the format of the book is, if the story and the art work in that format, I'm down for whatever format they want to put it in. Now,
all I've got to say is get the book, and then you see the boobies are bigger in the bigger format.
Boobies are bigger. Well, the thing is, it's a different format, so the pages they draw on are going to be different. It's like they're able to.
It's a different aspect ratio.
It's a different aspect ratio, right? It's like if you're going to film in scope versus if you're going to film like in just like a full frame, 16 by 9 or something like that. So, not every book works that way. That's in this format. Sometimes they just kind of shoehorn this format in on a story or art that doesn't really utilize it. I feel like it's utilized in this book to maximum effect. Did you check this one out, Nick?
Oh yeah, I for sure did. I really, really enjoyed the art in there and the way that it shifted between the different parts of the story. I thought that was really cool. I think there's going to be some twists and turns in there as well. The story, the first issue didn't answer all the questions. We still have a lot of mystery and things to unpack, which I really enjoyed too. Because like we know there's some kind of a demon possession, obsession kind of a thing going on, but we don't really quite know the whole story of the woman who was killed originally. A lot of that stuff was just kind of like scapegoat kind of things, right? I mean, like a lot of those stories weren't actually real. So I'm interested to get more into the demonology part of the story as well and see how that evolves. So it has a lot of cool things going for it. And it was definitely steamy for sure. So cool read.
Oh yeah. Brian, you and I met Tula this year.
Yep.
She was absolutely a sweetheart. Very proper, very prim, very British. I know you picked up this book. What did you do? Also, Becky was there too. She was at the bar.
Yeah.
Table.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk to her.
Yeah, me either. Anyway, what did you think about the book?
Yeah.
Enough name dropping. Yeah, me and Brian, we hang out, you know.
Yeah, but that was great pick. Yeah, I love that book too. I'm a huge fan of Tula Lotte's art, man. I love that style. You know, it's kind of retro too, right? You know, I mean, it's kind of, you know, really, you know, because like that series she did with Scott Snyder, like Barnstormers. Yeah, yeah, man, that was like a perfect art style for that story.
Yeah,
and I think it works so well with this too. You know, so yeah, it's great. It's great to see you know, superstars, you know, killing it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and I do like the bigger format. Actually, I'm good with that, and I am excited, you know, because this is Distillery, right? So this is like the Comixology people that were kind of booted out and everything like that. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I'm interested in seeing where they're going to. So
yeah, they got some good creators there, and I see Nothing's comment, you know, and there are aspects of it that do make you think of Image, right? Yeah. But it's a little bit different in the types of stories and the types of creators in particular, right?
And the types of creators getting paid. How are they getting something out of their work? It's different on that end as well. And it's worth looking into, especially if you're on the fence about them, because I think a lot of times you'll see how creators are being treated by the big two in particular versus outfits like this situation. And it makes you want to, you know, take a double take at it, because they're getting more bang for their buck here.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Greg? You read this one?
I did not. I missed it. I have no excuse. I just didn't even see it when I'm going through my pull list of like, what do I need? What do I need? And I checked out the one Distillery book that came out. Gone.
Yeah.
And you know, I enjoyed it, so I want to explore all their stuff, but I just missed it. There's nothing to it. I missed
Speaking of missing it, I think I skipped Stu.
I didn't want to call you out. I was gonna say it, and that's why I paused at first, but
I realized it as soon. Anyway, Stu, what did you think? Did you read this one?
Yeah, I did. I love this one. The art was fantastic. I thought the back and forth between these two styles was great, and yeah, the story was very steamy. I can understand people's hesitance with Distillery. I don't think there's anything wrong as a reader kind of being on the fence and waiting and seeing what happens and what people say about these titles. I think that's
you just need to jump in all gushy, throw all your money, buy all the Phantom Menace toys you can.
Yeah, especially at $9 a volume. But you know, I thought this one was great. I don't have a problem with it being in this format just because the art is just definitely worth seeing, like Carrie said, on that style and scope, on that scale and scope. So
I think one of the things they're trying to do with this format, and I think it's something that DC Black Label was trying to do, but that, you know, they had some really good books, but the success of the line didn't really, I don't think, worked for them. But this is European comics format. They have that kind of album format, and it kind of makes them, I think what they're trying to do is use that format to make the book feel more distinguished, you know, or something like that. And the thing is, one thing I love about DC Black Label is they like that format, but when Sean Gordon Murphy comes in and goes, I'm not going to use that format, I'm going to use the regular comic book page, or Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo come in and go, we want to use the regular comic book page, they let them. If Distillery can like do that, but as far as I'm aware, they're only going to be publishing these kind of like, European format books, which is okay. If you know that's the format to work in, you can utilize that. You can do it in a certain way. Jock utilized it and gone, but I think that Tula and Becky do it better even in this one.
Agreed.
So this to me was their first true hit. But I am excited to see what pops off from Distillery because of those creators involved and the fact that they have a stake. This gets picked up for a movie, they're going to get a big check. You know what I'm saying? This company does well. This company does well, they're going to do pretty well as well. So we'll see what happens. And as a retailer, so far everything they've offered has been returnable. I like that.
Oh,
that means I get to order heavy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That means I get to order heavy and try to push it, So there you go. Will it work in the long run? I don't know. All right.
Yeah.
Well, my top 2 have been picked. Now I know how y'all feel. All right. I'm going to go with Faceless and the Family. Issue number 1. Oni Press. What's the guy's name? Matt Lesniewski or something like that? Is that his name?
Yep,
Brian?
You got it. Yep.
Yeah, nice.
That's it. You got it.
Love the book. It's like a modern day fable. In my review, it reminded me of a Christian allegory novel that I read back in my church days called The Pilgrim's Progress, right? Where it's about this dude on a journey and everybody that he meets, it's such an obvious, stand-in and metaphor for something that the names even reference that. And that's what happens here. So it's about a dude who's wearing this mask. He thinks his face is messed up. Maybe that's not quite the case. Comes across a group of people on his journey. One is called Giant because he's a giant dude, but he's a gentle giant. And then you got like the Carpenter, who's like the more like fiery kind of character, right? She's a carpenter and she joins along. And the artwork in this book was so freaking amazing. The rubbery nature of all of the characters. It felt like artwork from Yellow Submarine at times, right? But it's black and white, almost using like a pointillism, airbrushy kind of textury thing to it that I absolutely loved. It was extra sized. It was from Oni Press. It was also returnable. So there is no reason why any comic shop worth their salt on this earth shouldn't have plenty of copies. And if you can't find one, guess who's got plenty on his shelf? Because I ordered the shit out of this book because, man, the art is impressive. The story, I think, is direct that most anybody can pick up on the themes of this story. It's obvious, but at the same time, it's exciting, and it's such a pleasure to read, and I am looking forward to even more. Did you read this one, Nick?
No, I did not. This was one of those weeks where I tune in to the early release Tuesday night audio only, and you mentioned what your pick of the week was. I think it was your pick of the week, right? That one week that it came out. And I was like, what the hell is this book that he's pushed? I don't know. I didn't know anything about it. It was completely off my radar and it was not on my shelf. So I was like, damn, I got to go back and find that one. But you've been singing its praises, man. I got to go back and pick it up.
Yeah, I would highly recommend it for sure. Why don't you just swing down? It's like
hour and a half
drive. Just swing on down and I'll give you a copy if you swing on by on Saturday, man. I'll just give you.
There it is. Faceless in the Family. I got it pulled up. I'll see if I can get it on my shop.
All right. What about you, Brian? Man, I know you read this one. In fact, I think you read it early, didn't you?
I did. I backed to the Zoop. He did it. Put it up on Zoop. It was probably just a month or two after the Axe Wielder John came up. That's kind of how it popped up. I had seen he worked with Matt Kent on a series called Crimson Flower, which was very bizarre and awesome. So I was familiar with him, and I talked to Matt Kent about him at Heroes this year, and he was like, "Yeah, I just hope he remembers me." he just thought the world of him, man. And when I look at that art, it's like I don't know how this guy could ever be on time. There's so much ink and all that stuff on there, and it's all this fine detail. And if y'all aren't following him on Instagram, you got to get on that one, man, because like he shares his commissions all the time.
Didn't we meet him this year?
Yeah, he was there, and
okay.
I bought the Freak off of him, which this shows you my my wonderful memory. I didn't realize that I added the Freak when I did the Zoop thing. So when I got my Zoop thing, so now I got 2 copies of the Freak. I'm going to be giving that out to somebody. That is also a very very cool series. I recommend that one. But yeah, I think I'm getting the individual issues, even though I've got the thing, because like, I don't know, I like it that much. I want to support them. And then the covers are dope too. Because he did the covers on that Xeno series too.
He did.
That recent one. Man, those are so good.
Who did who was the variant on this one? Was it Dustin Weaver, or is that one coming up or something?
It was
like
Dustin
that?
Weaver, yeah.
Okay.
And that was sick.
Yeah, I think there's a really good variant for issue 2. I can't remember who it is though. Maybe Bertram or something like that. Stu, did you read this one?
I have not read this one. I do have it, but I have not gotten to it yet. But I don't know. This one's definitely in the read pile. This one is one of those books I would have missed. Like, what was that other pick of the week that you pointed out? Midlife. Like these are two books that definitely would have flown under my radar if you hadn't pointed it out. So I picked it up. The art looks crazy. Looks absolutely
great, dude,
so
right?
Yeah, excited to get to that.
Everybody looks like they're a slide. I don't know. It's like everything looks
Yeah.
like a slide to me, man. Like I don't know. There's something I love about
are
that.
dope.
Well, that effect, that's part of why I suggested the Instagram thing, because he does commissions of like, big 2 characters too, and seeing like your favorite big 2 characters in that style too is just wild, man. It's like so cool.
Yeah, these are cool.
Greg, did you check this one out?
I didn't. It's on my list now. So I make a list, gang, when I miss this stuff.
Oh yeah.
I wish someone on this
Gotcha.
channel had a show that promoted it as their topic of the week. But otherwise I wouldn't have missed it. But if someone has a show like that, let me know, gang.
Yeah, I'm still looking for it. What about you, Carrie? Did you check this one out? Should we tell her?
No.
Oh shit! I'm doing it. I'm
you voted me.
Yep.
I'm officially a part of the group, I think, because I just did the bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome.
No, I have not read this one.
All right.
I think you would like it a lot. You should definitely try to check it. And if you can make your way to Huntsville, Alabama on Saturday, I'll give you a copy as well. Anybody.
I'll see what I can do.
Except for you, Brian.
Yeah.
Because you've already bought it twice and you live here. All right.
Dude, I'm watching real quick. I'm watching him.
You would let me buy it twice.
I'm on his Instagram because of Brian right now, and he's showing like he has a really cool shading effect, right? Like the artwork and everything is just remarkable, and you can just see him just dotting like a madman. It's incredible.
It's like pointillism, right? It's just like
it's so cool.
Oh,
That's
God.
so crazy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna watch
that kind
this.
of control.
You guys got the show. I'm gonna watch this.
All right. I gotta go pee. So
I'll kick it off.
like you're gonna kick us off. We're doing round 2, the runner-up round, right? So Nick, what's your runner-up pick? Then we're just gonna go through the panel, everybody.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we've all picked each other's picks. So we're actually like 4 or 5 deep at this point right now. But one book I really had a lot of fun with, and I thought I read it back when it was a Comicsology original. And it's actually from a writer that I'm up and down with. It depends on what the book is, but I actually love this one a lot. Canary issue number 1. First off, with this amazing cover. I know he can't like highlight, but there's spot foil on this cover. And first off, it's just an amazing cover to begin with. It almost has like, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it has almost like a skull effect in here. But what really drove me crazy about this book is like, it's a Western. So if you're into Western kinds of things, you're going to dig this book. There's like an impossibly good bandit or bounty hunter or whatever he is, like ex-sheriff, whatever he is. He's just like an impossibly good at what he does. Everybody kind of fears this guy. He has a really interesting history with this really with Canary, the town of Canary, and this like real evil dude, right? And there's like a demonic presence about him. He kind of flashes back and forth with the origin of their relationship when he hears news of all these weird crazy murders that are going on. These people seem like they're possessed. And so he's investigating what's going on, and everything is kind of pointing him back to the town of Canary, taking on his foe, perhaps, that he took on in the past. He meets a lot of the townsfolk. They're trying to like evolve past all these horror stories that they've been involved with over the time. The art is crazy good in here. It's an extra-sized issue. And I just love the idea of this guy taking out this like demonic threat, living his life a little bit, being dragged back in and having to relive all that trauma, all that emotion, and trying to get back to like save the day yet again in the town of Canary here. So it was actually a surprise for me because I thought I read this book when it originally came out. But man, when I got into this book, I was like, this is such a cool read. great little Western story, and it has like that demonic thing involved as well. So Canary was definitely one of my more favorite books of the month for sure. Brian, did you?
Panosian's art is fantastic in this.
Oh, it's so good.
No, it's so, all the covers. It's so good.
Yeah,
I'm glad it's getting more shine now that it's hitting print. But yeah, I loved it when it was on Comixology.
You picked Canary?
I did.
Yeah.
Man, what a great book. The coloring in that book, right?
So good. So good. Yeah. And it's like the perfect mix, man. If you're into Westerns, you got a little bit of that feel. If you're into horror books, you got a little bit of that going on. If you're into like drama and just kind of like just action books in general, it's just such a good blend of everything. It didn't have the Scott Snyder tropes either. Like every writer's got them if you pay attention to them long enough. And like his tropes weren't in this book. And so I was like, oh, thank God. It's just like a good story and great art.
Yeah, I really like Canary. Dan Panosian, yo. Panosian, don't you know? I really like it. What about you, Brian? What's your runner-up?
Okay, my runner-up is Kaya 13. This is the start of the third arc, and it throws you right back into it. Wes Craig is, I don't know, he just keeps climbing the ladder for me. Like so now doing the complete writer artist thing with this, like everything's paced really well. I mean, these are and it's, I don't know, it's just a fantastic adventure story. The world building in this is fabulous. I mean, it's like it's all ages and literally all ages. I mean, it's not it's not just written for 9-year-olds. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just like, this is a fantastic book. And this story arc is it's the original threat just getting bigger and bigger, and they're basically getting thrown right at the original threat from the very beginning. And you learn a lot more about them as well. And I don't know, it's just this, I get so excited when I see that this is coming out on a week, because like it's a phenomenal book and from a phenomenal creator, just killing it. So
yeah, I love that book so much. I am so enamored with the space that the art seems to have. Like, it's got this room to breathe. Maybe it's because wide gutters, no borders on the panels, really great color work, but the storytelling is so good, and it's such a pleasure to read, man. Yeah, let's take a look at that.
Pace.
Look at that. Look at that pacing. It's like, that's Mike Mignola-esque with a little bit of like, I don't know, like even some like, I don't know, some different techniques that I don't know who to think of. Like maybe like I don't know.
That Mignola reference is great, actually, because he's so good at isolating what's important on there. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah.
The way, like, when you look at Mignola piece, you know exactly what he's going for right away, right? I mean, you know the way, the mix of the foreground, midground, background, like that, just like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a great comparison, I think.
It looks great, and it's a completely different style, and then like Deadly Class or something like that.
Yep.
What about you, Stu? What's your runner-up, my man?
So I was thinking of going a couple heavier directions, but I've just had so much fun reading this series throughout, and where we've been the last couple of issues have been so much fun. Batman Superman World's Finest, number 21. Mark Waid's DC Renaissance continues. This book, what he's doing with the Kingdom Come lore, it's just been so much fun for me. I really it's been such a solidly consistent book. Even Mora is back now, but Bonvillain's colors have been just enormously great, issue to issue. Travis Moore, I thought, filled the gaps of some of those past issues and just kept up the aesthetic style that Moore had already established. But it's been such a quality book with the Boy Thunder arc, the Metamorpho arc with the AI, and now we're coming back into Magog and Boy Thunder and all that, and where it's going. But Wade's just been so strong on this, and to see it go 21 issues, I hope it continues to go further. Obviously those books are a rarity in today's market, but I think it's been one of the most solid books from either of the big two, and it just makes me happy to see Wade doing great things with some of his old classic stories.
Yeah, and that book has been so much fun. It's kind of got that sense of bouncy fun that the Silver Age brings, or like when you're a kid reading comics, and it's very colorful and bombastic, and then tying it into Kingdom Come, you can roll your eyes and be like, okay, we're doing this again, but it actually works, and it's giving us some kind of essential and crucial backstory to Kingdom Come, which I think is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Greg? What's your your first runner up? This is going way faster than I thought it would.
It's all right. It's all right. We got rapid fire still. We can just adjust.
Yeah.
No. One I'm going to talk about is Boom Studios. It's the number one. Darcy Van Polge's
Nice.
Lotus Land. Art by Chao Felipe. I don't know, but it's fantastic. And I've been a fan of Darcy's ever since Little Bird, and that really is basically what Darcy has gotten to do. So when I saw that he was on a new book, futuresque, you've got your detective who's, off in the woods, has a kid, in a cabin with his kid, doesn't want anything to do. Detective needs to get pulled in for this murder. It just sets up in such a cool way. It's futuristic, but there's enough mystery and intrigue that you got to go, what's going on? And I'm so here for it. If it's even half as good as Little Bird was, it's going to be great. So I really dug Lotus Land.
Yeah, I think I need to read that one again, right? I think I need to read that one again, and I liked it, but it didn't feel, I don't know, there was something about it that felt kind of incomplete for me, right? I'm a big fan of Darcy's, right? Like Little Bird was my favorite book that year. Very pumped for Precious Metal to come out. I've been waiting on that book, right? I was reading this one and I was like, I don't know, maybe it was the state of mind I was in. Maybe it was a long day. I've had some of those this week or this month with on Tuesdays in particular. But yeah, I liked it. Brian, you were wanting to say something?
Oh yeah, I was a great pick, but I also need to reread it again because I think I was really tired when I read it because I remember liking it, but I couldn't tell you what happened in it.
Yeah,
but I also wanted to say, great interview, Greg.
Oh,
Darcy.
thank you.
That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuances in this book, and I liked the fact that I kind of like stories where the current regime of whatever department, governmental agency, whatever it is, has to go back to the grizzled old retired guy and has to pull him back in because they can't solve something. And that's exactly what we get inside this book. And he's got his own things he's trying to protect right now. And his isolation really speaks a lot because the world they show you outside of that, his isolation is very advanced and very futuristic, but he's living that really modest, in the woods, secluded kind of life. And I like this one a lot. There was something in there. Robbie, I know exactly what you're talking about. Brian, I know exactly what you're talking about. There's something there. There wasn't as many peaks, but the intrigue has got me. There's a lot of mystery in this book. And there's a lot of things we're going to unravel very soon. And I think it's going to be a great series once it unfolds a little bit more, for sure.
Yeah, right. And I think that's
on my radar.
I think that's going to be the key, is to see where it goes. I definitely enjoyed the setup.
Oh yeah.
But it's the next issue's got to build off of this for sure.
Right.
And give us a little bit of where are we going.
Yeah. It's definitely on my radar though. Good pick.
Heck yeah. All right, Carrie, what's your runner up?
Let's get a little emotional here. Okay. We were talking earlier about writers writing lines that just make us like jealous we didn't write them, One writer that does that continuously, repeatedly, is Rom V. Rom V has definitely pulled that out in this issue of Detective Comics. Now, Detective Comics has been every 2 weeks now because they're doing this, I don't know, because
there were 3 this month. 3.
We haven't gotten enough of Rom V apparently, and I have to agree.
Can't.
In particular, what we've got going on right now is if you haven't been keeping up, Batman has been captured by the villains of the story, and they are all set to basically do an old style hanging in the middle of Gotham of Batman. Well, one person is definitely not having that, and that's Selina Kyle. So there's this moment in this book. The whole book is basically Selina. She's trying to sit there and be like, okay, guys, I got to put together a posse and we're going to save Batman. So she's pulling together like whatever she can do, like whoever she can pick that's going to be on their side and everything like that. She's in the middle of doing this, and she sneaks into his jail cell. And there's this moment that if you haven't been reading it, Batman is fighting a possession of basically his mind and everything. And he's fighting it off. And she sits there and she addresses him. She tells him, basically she's like, oh, the number of times I've whispered to you, Bruce, come away with me. But look at where we've ended up. I know we've had a rough time. Rooftops and moonlight vows parted by broken promises and the chasms of war. But wherever you are, Bruce, I hope you can hear me. I hope somewhere deep down I will never let you fall. Remember, Bruce, before it is done, we will come for you. Holy shit, guys. Like,
yeah.
Find someone in your life that will raise armies. Almost quite literally, if you've been reading, it's not really an army, but she's got Azrael, okay?
Yep.
Someone that will raise armies and just completely rage war to save you, which is what Selena is doing. And I have loved this whole run the whole time. But this moments where you have like, and it's not just the words. It's not just the words. This moment where she's like, we will come for you. Look at that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Look at that beautiful, beautiful moment. We're coming for you. I will never let you fall. Find someone in your life. If you don't have someone like that, well, go back to the drawing board. Okay? Because
go to some trance therapy, courtesy of W. Maxwell Prince.
Go do it. Go do it. Because if you do not have someone in your life that will say to you, I will never let you fall, then you're missing out.
That's rather inspiring, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing, Ron V's been killing it, right? And the last time we had a conversation with him, Brian, right? Like we asked him about this detective run. He told us there's an interlude coming up, but it's going to be awesome. And it's set up like an opera. It's an operatic structure, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in the intermission or the interlude. We're in the interlude right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And holy freaking cow, Jason Sean Alexander.
Insane. Dave Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
With Dave Stewart, that art is like, I wish this dude would have done the whole damn run.
And
Yeah.
then didn't Liam Sharp have a moment too on that in that book or the next one? I thought Liam Sharp had a story or something that was also.
He did the variant covers. He did a variant for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're not skimping on those secondary stories either.
Oh no, they got Dan Waters
No.
doing those,
Yeah, they-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the one in the recent one, ooh, I love that one so much. Sorry.
Like, okay, so like
So good.
one of the things like in the secondary story in that issue was you have this, you think that you've been taken apart by Ron V with that whole Selena and Bruce scene. Then you get taken apart all together, all again by Dan Waters with Leanne.
Yeah.
With Leanne sitting there in front of Cheshire Cat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you have her like narration. And she's like, you know what? On the day I gave you up, I just killed 2 people. And she's like, you know what? We'll go help the costume idiots, And I think that's exactly actually what she says. I can't remember exactly, but
Yeah.
but she's like, okay, because it's you, because you think I don't love you. Actually, I gave you up. That's why I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
And then it continues where you see her like totally kicking ass in this issue.
All 3 issues of Detective that came out this month were some of the best in the entire run. And one of my favorite things this month was I am very briefly once a week on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, right? But I went on Twitter one day to like probably post what movie I was watching or something, and I saw a tweet from Rom V. Now that it's X, do we still call them tweets?
I don't know. That's what I do.
Well, Rom V X'd everybody, and so what happened was he said, "I've learned today there are two types of Batman reviewers. The ones that go, Batman's got emotions, bleh. And then those that go, Batman's got emotions, yes, right?
Yes!
And like that's what's going on. Like there are people that are like, it's crazy to me because to me, I'm like, well, this is objectively one of the best Batman books we've gotten in years. You know what I'm saying? But like,
there it is.
Yeah, it comes out sometimes over yonder. I reckon. But what was I saying? I think it's like objectively one of the best we've ever gotten. But just kind of like when David Lapham did City of Crime.
It's like, who fucking follows this guy?
Yeah, like other people were into the other guy, and then this, or like, and so it's just there's so many people that are like, yeah, this one's not for me. Like, I'm not liking it. Seems strung out.
I don't
blah,
get
blah,
it.
blah.
I don't get it.
Well, it's just
don't
different
get
taste. Right?
And
Different
that's
folks.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
I
cool.
guess.
That's cool.
I just
I
there are
personally
people,
don't get it.
Carrie, that are into comics that don't like good comics. Let's be honest. It's just unfortunately, that's the world we live in.
And Detective is set up to not just really be a Batman book, too, right? I mean, this is different than like because that one Detective run that Tynion did was,
you know, it's yeah,
like that Detective run that Tynion did. Like, I love that. I mean, that's one of my favorite Detective runs, and Batman's hardly in it.
His Detective run is amazing, and then he comes in to do Batman, and I think it's underwhelming, right? And sometimes
it started out good.
Yes, so
it
true.
started out good.
It started out good,
And
but
then
here's the thing: is I think sometimes with Detective, I think editorial will let you play a little bit more with that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's more.
Well, it's become
you
pretty
think about
obvious. Yeah,
that skeleton key, that's story that Scott Snyder got to tell, and the Black Mirror stuff. It's like they definitely let him
with Jock and Francisco Francavilla.
Yeah, and
all
James Gordon's like serial killer son and all that. Like that was brilliant.
That's great stuff, man. Yeah, like in Detective, because it's the secondary Batman title, right? And every time that they try to make it feel like a main Bat title, it fails. It just doesn't work, you know. And there have been some really solid runs. Greg Rucka doing the Batwoman stuff. That was the book that Greg Rucka did back in the day in the like post No Man's Land. Him and Sean Martinborough. That's like one of the best Batman runs that nobody has read or talked about because nobody read comics in like 2000 and 2005, but like me and like 8 other people, it feels like, right? But like that stuff is top notch. And Detective is where these kind of stories flourish. I think Detective stories need to be more cerebral, more experimental with the artwork, more like what we're getting out of Detective right now. Bearded, you pulled a Batman and just dipped out real quick in a puff of smoke. You've been reading Detective. What do you think about what Ron V's doing on this title?
Man, it's been great. It's just so good. It's Shakespearean. Like and I'm loving that they're doing the 2 issues at the same time because it's like, or 2-3 issues a month because I'm like, I'd be lost. I think and this is one where I'm like, I'm really happy that we're getting this. So Ron V is just a master at writing.
He's turned a Batman comic, basically not even the main title Batman comic, and made it art.
Yeah.
Like, who follows after him? Like, I can't.
Whoever it is, I mean, they might as well just put Cull and Bunn on that fucking title or something because it's not gonna fucking make any waves. You know what I'm saying? I had to get the Cull and Bunn thing in since Manny's not here.
Yeah, it's once a show.
The only person I can think that could follow Ron V right now is Dan Waters.
Yeah, they're setting it up. It's got to be Dan, right?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even be against the idea of Dan coming in and turning it into an Azrael book.
An Azrael book, for sure.
Dude, when Azrael shows up wearing his Nightfall costume in
every one of these issues.
Come on.
The Azrael moment. The Azrael moment in the issue just came out the other day. Like, holy crap.
I think it's just going to be a 10-eyed man book, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to like hurt.
Okay,
I'm not trying to hurt Rodney Barnes in any kind of way, but can we get Jason Sean Alexander as the ongoing artist on this book, man?
Oh, for sure.
Like, and I don't mind. There's been some great artists, and Rom's able to actually tailor the stories and structure towards the artists, right? but like
Mhm.
this is it. This is like peak ROM detective right here for me.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
The
And
one,
it still feels like superhero-y with the heist aspect, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
the one shot, Carrie, you showed one panel where she was kind of like embracing him with like the demon
Yes.
or is it like a bat head or something, whatever that is, it might be the demon. There's the one scene where Selena is gets into the jail cell and she's like she kneels down next to him when he's kind of on the ground. The way that he draws that is unbelievable. I absolutely love
Where
it's
like
just
they're both kneeled together, but
they're
like
both
she's
kind of like
still over
collapsed.
him.
She's like caressing she's like grabbing his face and she's like, you fool. You know what I mean? Like you got yourself in this position. Like that one panel, I was like, damn, this is one of the best books this year. It's incredible.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I actually picked up the hardcover, the first volume hardcover, because I was like, you know what? This is I've been convinced this is something to have in hardcover on my shelves for the duration of my life and to go back and revisit. Plus, I'm inspired to like, fuck, I want to reread it all again right now and get set up for like what's to come after this interlude, right? So freaking pumped. And Rom is so meticulous about the way he wants to affect pacing in comics. And music is such a big deal, man. Just check out any of those conversations me and Brian have had with him. Like, and he talks more about it, you know, backstage, right? Like he is so into the idea of how to control the way a reader reads a comic, right?
If you're a writer and you're not using music, like if you're just a regular novel, comic, poet, or whatever, and you're not using music to kind of bounce off of, like you need to, because that's how I write. It's like I have all kinds of different playlists. Like if I come into a new idea, I gotta have the playlist before I even jump into it and start writing. It's
for sure.
You have to do that. If you haven't, try it, because you're gonna see shit come out of your brain that's just like next level, and you're gonna be like, where the hell did that come from?
So nobody, and I haven't done my runner up yet, but it's not going to be a Marvel book, but nobody's picked a Marvel book. So I just want to make this point. This is the part of the show where I bitch about Marvel for a second. Rom V was at Marvel for a while. He did Carnage, right? That could have been a really good book, and it was decent. Oh, no, he did Carnage, but he also did the Venom, right?
He did the Venom first, and he was switching off with Ewing.
If anybody thinks that I am off my rocker with the problems with Marvel and Marvel editorial, look how they wasted Rom fucking V.
No kidding.
Look at what DC is able to do. We've talked to him, and I'm not going to share, information that maybe he doesn't want to be shared, but he gets a lot more freedom at DC. They recognize that talent. They want him to be there. They signed him exclusive, but still allowed in the contract that he could do creator-owned stuff. They just don't want him at Marvel. And I'm sure Rom was like, okay.
Sure.
That's why we're getting rare flavors and stuff like that still, because they're like, you know what?
Yeah.
Just stay away from Marvel.
And we would have been talking about rare flavors, but there wasn't an issue this month of rare flavors.
I was surprised when I saw that he signed the contract, because, he's always saying that, like, I don't think he says I save my best stuff for creator owned, but like he does. Like, I mean, that's like where,
well, when we asked him that directly, I almost felt like I asked the wrong question, because he goes, no, not at all. I feel like I'm adding to an ongoing mythology that we're building. And it's like, he understands it in a way of like the way Grant Morrison or Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman does. He's one of them.
Well,
he's one of them.
And one of the things that they're doing right now, involving that they're starting to get back into it, and I love it, is continuity. Okay, so you can tell, like, at first I couldn't tell where the hell this would fit into continuity. It's still kind of fuzzy for me, but now we're seeing that it happens after everything that's happening in Zdarsky's run.
Oh, so what? Batman's got a robot hand?
Well,
is he Anakin Skywalker in this? I didn't pick up on
Jason hiding somewhere? Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like the way that they mention the chasms of war. They mention that she's gone away, she's come back. So they've definitely mentioned
that makes sense, yeah.
Stuff with that. And they're actually even finding ways to connect things.
Yeah.
In a way that is a little bit more like easy.
Well, it's connected into like the Cheshire and her kid kind of stuff that's being worked on in Green Arrow right now, and was in Catwoman, which was a character he was working with there. And I do appreciate that it's tied into continuity, because that's something that us as comic book fans of superheroes really like, especially Big Two stuff. Yeah. But the best thing is, you know where this book fits? On a shelf, read 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15. When it's all said and done, this is going to be a Batman book that stands. It's perennial. Evergreen, right? Rom understands that. Perennial, evergreen, right? And DC excels at that, where Marvel usually doesn't quite so much, right?
How does the hardcover look, though? I want to know how, like, because DC does hardcovers like really well.
It's a good hardcover. I actually haven't taken it out of the sleeve yet, so I don't know if it's like, I haven't taken out the shrink wrap, so I don't know if it's actually got a like anything on the actual hardcover, but it seems very standard, just DC hardcover. And you know that they're going to be doing a deluxe edition at some point, so I'll probably fucking rebuy it or whatever.
Yeah, that'll be hard.
I think that's what I'm waiting for, is for it to all be together. You know,
that'd be a good
like
one.
I'll shell out the money for that, you know, but like that. Oh,
he also informed us this is his last long-term run for a long time. Like everything else is going to be like short, like kind of one and done things. But at the same time, Rare Flavors seems like it's setting itself up to be a thematic trilogy, right? And will Radio Apocalypse ever come back? I don't give a shit, because what Rom's doing right now is the shit, and I'm loving it.
I hope it does.
I'm okay. I want to say I was paraphrasing on my part earlier. I'm not saying he does save his best for the creator-owned stuff, like, but the way he was talking about his creator-owned stuff, like,
Rom's not watching, bro. You don't have to give that up. Rom's not.
If he does,
I'm just saying. I just want to be clear.
He knows we love him.
Clarity.
Yeah.
Rom, we love you if you're watching. Tom, we love you too, man. We do.
Well, the first interview we did was Alex Packnadell, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about, white noise, and I think you asked him about Rom's hair.
That was the very first question I asked him was, how does Rom have such good hair?
That is some glorious, glorious hair.
He said something about the hair, and then he goes, and he's going to be a star. And this was when, like, the book he had out at the time, he had Black Mamba, that crowdfunded one, and then the These Savage Shores was, kind of what he'd had at that time. So, like, I don't know. Yeah, Alex.
And then what? He comes out with Blue and Green next, or something.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
it was just
up. Yeah, it was just hit after hit, right?
Graffiti's wall. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Graffiti's Wall had been out at that time, because that was a re-release when they did that.
I read that just recently. Where can I get a copy of Black Mamba? That thing's like so hard to find, man.
I bought it off eBay.
Yeah, I'm looking.
It wasn't that expensive, because I think it was from a store where he sold some copies.
Gotcha.
I just look on eBay, because I can't remember if it was on air or not, but I don't think he plans on printing that one again.
Damn. If anybody knows where a copy of that is, let me know. I'm trying to hunt one down. So I haven't read it yet.
Me too.
I was pretty happy with the price too, because mine actually did come remarked by Rom.
Oh wow!
Like with a little remark by him. So
was it his hair? Was it like
that would have been great?
Sketchy,
but it was the detective in there. But yeah,
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So
I got to order from a shop in England. That's where I got it. That's introspective. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I'm running into right now. I can't really find anything in the States.
Hey, well, I'll reach out to my brother. He lives in London, and I'll try and see if we can get 2 copies.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, hit me up for sure.
I'll let you know.
Awesome.
What are we talking about?
Black Mamba.
Nick and I are gonna reach out to my brother in London to try and get a book, because I feel like we can get Black Mamba there.
Gary says 3.
Yep. All right, 3.
And if you order, you'll get a remark. Mine's remarked. Brian's is remarked. I think Helena got one, Brian, that's remarked, right?
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because when that last interview
they might have all been.
She bought one. Yeah, I think they're all remarked. I think he probably did it a while back. Probably they're probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
Man, see, I love this show. We just had a big nerd fest over Rom V's Detective. You're reading that one, right, Stu?
Yeah, we haven't even asked Stu what he thinks.
Stu, bro.
Stu, don't tell him.
Should we tell him?
No.
Do we tell him?
Oh, we tell him now.
Abel and Eve were like, nice Mike.
My mic died. Sorry.
You're back.
Dude, all our tech problems are just...
Maybe Stu has been talking this entire time.
He's like, these guys are jerks.
They keep interrupting me. I'm never coming back.
Absolutely. Reading and loving this one. Nick had to bully me about this one on the month ahead show in November. He had to drop me backstage and teach me a lesson. But yeah, I completely agree with what everybody said. I think he's just he's a writer who continues to find ways to surprise me, and I'm always excited to see his name on a book, whether it is like a detective or something original and new from him. But yeah, I completely what Ariaga said there, fast food versus fine dining. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. My runner up. We love you guys like Bloodsport. Hell yeah, man. Yeah. Kumite. Dude, could you imagine Ron V and Jason Shawn Alexander doing a graphic novel of Bloodsport?
Yes, and
just saying.
Glorious.
I can't, but I would buy it.
Yeah, it's on the poll.
No, I can. I picture it in my mind, and it's glorious.
Let's just say he should do whatever he wants.
I'm looking at this list. Like Nick said, most of my picks have been kind of taken, but there are a few left. But I think it's nice to really kind of highlight this book because this is a book that came out and it was super big. It got very popular. Everybody had high hopes for it. And it's kind of seemed to wane down. My sales, for instance, are still very strong, but they are not quite what they were. Seems like it's lost about a third of its audience over this year, which they said was the year of Barbaric.
Ooh.
But I will tell you this. If you waned an interest in Barbaric after, like maybe when Owen went to hell, or maybe during Queen of Swords or something like that, you need to get up off your ass, get to your LCS, and check out Barbaric, Wrong Kind of Righteous.
Oh,
One-shot comic.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
I'm not good. There's nothing really to spoil, but I was just going to tell you this. It's a return to form. Everything in the first arc in the second that we loved about Barbaric is 100% back. We are world building. Now, you read Queen of Swords, right, Carrie?
I read it, yes, and I loved it.
We're introduced to the idea of other weapons that can talk.
Yes.
We get introduced to another one here. So we're world building and at the same time getting right back to Owen and Sori at a bar. Shit happens, a slight adventure, and just hilarious, crude, irreverent fun, man. The book is so much fun, and I really like some of the heavy-handedness of Queen of Swords and even the Hell to Pay arc, but like there was a lightness that was missing in this book, and it got brought right back. Now, Michael Morisi's got a co-writer on this.
Nicholas Ames.
And it's freaking fantastic. Nathan Gooden back on the artwork. Coloring at times, maybe there's some pages where they're all pinkish red. Maybe we could work a little bit on making it pop a little bit more in the color. But aside from that, fantastic. Plus, the manga homage cover for Berserk. One bullshit thing, though, about Vault, all their variant covers are now more expensive off the cuff to retailers, as well as certain incentives. So beware, some of those variant covers are $10 for Barbaric. So just get a cover A, because that's kind of a shady, shisty type thing, I think, that Vault's been doing where, and they're also not putting the prices on those books. And I like that Berserk cover. It's a $10 cover. The other variant cover is a $10 cover. It's a $7 book, but it's an oversized one-shot, one complete story. And if you've never read anything of Barbaric, you could just jump in here. It is that good. Barbaric could easily be this generation's Hellboy, right?
I love it.
A series of miniseries and one-shots that like collectively tell a whole story that you can play with. But I loved it. I loved it. Such a return form. Anybody else read that this week?
I have to I haven't read it yet, but it's totally on my list. And I love Barbaric. I love everything about it. The guy that's writing it with him, Ames, is a novel writer. Okay. If you like fun fantasy novels, Kings of the Wild. Cannot recommend that enough. Kings of the Wild. It's a thick one, but it's a lot of fun. And it takes like this idea of like if you play D&D or if you've ever been interested in those kind of worlds, the idea of bands of adventurers being like bands, like touring.
Yeah.
Okay. They're really famous and they play in stadiums and that kind of thing. And that is like the basis of the world of Kings of the Wild. And Kings of the Wild is basically kind of like this group, like what if what if Foreigner like got back together, like the actual Foreigner, not like people pretending to be Foreigner, but like actual Foreigner, or like Boston, or like any of these major like
if
like
Foreigner came back bands, complete, it would be cold as ice.
Absolutely. But like if like any of these bands like
I'd have like double vision. I'm just pulling that shit from. Remember that? Anybody remember watch that Aqua Teen Hunger Force where Carl gets the Foreigner belt?
And apparently there's new episodes for that as well.
I heard. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
So
anybody else read Barbaric?
It's so good.
I love the series. I dropped off after Hell to Pay. I think I read a couple more, but I got to get back in because it was such a fun read, dude.
That was yesterday's, right?
It was yesterday, Brian. Did you pick it up?
And it's like a double.
I didn't finish all of my books.
I'm still working through.
I was not able to finish all my books.
So nobody else here but me read this book.
But I'm excited to. I get that I did feel like the story kind of dipped a little bit, but I still loved it. Like I've been in there the whole time.
So nobody else read this.
I did not.
Michael's so pissed right now, y'all. He's watching. He's messaging me right now. He's like, "You guys know, I'm just kidding. Just kidding."
You got to read it Wednesday night.
Yeah, bro. Why haven't you read it yet? I know it just came out yesterday and it's like double size, but like, fuck that, man. Like,
60 pages. Why didn't you get it? Yeah.
All right, now we're in the rapid fire portion of the show. The best of the rest. What about you, Nick? Kick us off, man.
Oh, okay. So let's get into there's a new publisher. Somebody mentioned in the chat, and I had the pleasure of getting a copy of it. It's Zombie Zero from Critical Entertainment. So it's actually a trade paperback, came out yesterday. I got an early copy, and it's actually quite amazing. If you're into zombie stuff, if you've been fans of Walking Dead, if you like just kind of like the standard that they set on zombie comics in general, and like how the survivors are dealing with each other and with the zombie threat, this one takes that entire thing in a whole different direction, and actually kind of comes at the perspective of the last zombie that's alive. It's actually captured by scientists, and it's actually the most evolved and most like adapted zombie. So it actually has lived the longest and has been able to come up with different abilities that your typical zombies are not having. It reflects on its life. It's trying to find its family again. It's from his perspective. There's lots of like your familiar faces from like Walking Dead, where you have like the real violent team coming out trying to kill it and things like that. There's some scientists that want to study it. So it's a really, really cool book. I really recommend checking it out. It was written a couple of years ago, but it just came out this past week. So Zombie Zero was actually a really cool book if you're into zombie stuff. Berserker Fallen Empire came out just this week as well. Just a really good expansion on the Berserker lore and story overall. What I really love about this one is this character has been around for so long, and it's had such a huge impact on like major societies throughout the whole like human evolution. This is just like another one of those stories. Someone's extremely desperate to like have their story told, and they tell the story that they have as being like the last survivor of their kingdom, in other words. And of course, Berserker is kind of like the end of their kingdom. So there's a really desperate person to get their story told and recorded, and we see what happens to them at the end. Monty Kenny had Bootleg Spider-Man issue number 2. This book was crazy good as well. Extra large size superhero comics, really fun book. If you can't get your hands on Bootleg Spider-Man issue number 1 because it's sold out immediately and he's like not reprinting it apparently, you can probably get your hands on Bootleg Spider-Man 2, and it's super fun. He actually takes on Batman in this issue, so you can get to see what happens when he does that. Killer artwork. Yeah, killer artwork, great story. It's a lot of fun. I'll close it off with Kadransky. Got Blood Commandment, issue number 1. Yeah. What a crazy book this was. Really interesting. We got a main character who's kind of isolated with his family in the woods, interacts with town as infrequently as possible. He's got his own demons that he's trying to like hold back right now. We get to see what happens when they're unleashed. A new threat comes to town. He has to kind of like wolf out a little bit and take care of some business. Crazy artwork, good drama, nice little horror, suspense, some questions still. Amazing artwork. Blood Commandment was another great book this month.
Thank you so much for the reminder, by the way, about bootleg Spider-Man. I'm ordering it and Steel Streets number 8 right now because I haven't gotten number 8. So
8's really good too. Yep.
Yeah, thank you for that. I need to hook up with him and just be like, bruh, just send me everything you got. I'll fucking tell everybody they need to buy it. Come on, man. Hook someone up, man. Hook someone up, man.
We got to get him on a channel and have a little talk.
Yeah,
with him too.
dude, he's a super cool guy.
Yes.
Like,
for sure.
Not to do this again. Me and Brian met him this year. And like I think Brian knew who he was. Maybe did you know who he was?
No,
like,
Nick,
I did.
I dragged you. I mean, I said we need to go see this guy. Nick was posting some really cool shit from him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and I was like, who's this guy next to Jim Rugg, man? His shit
right next to
gnarly.
He was right next to it. Yeah.
Like I go
we
up
were
and I
already
was
over
like,
there a lot.
Yeah, I went over there and I was like, I remember when we met him and I was like, hey man, so what's your whole vibe, right? Like, what do you do, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I like 80s underground gnarly texture kind of shit. I was like, give me one of everything.
Right? Oh yeah.
Like just me and Brian both bought like we want the package, dude. We want 1 through 7 of Steel Streets. That's what he was selling, right?
Lost Land is amazing. Full Power is amazing as well. All the Steel Streets are good. Bootleg is good. He has a book called Cosmos, I think. Issue number 2 came out, I think, recently. That one's amazing as well. It's just crazy stuff. Absolutely. The guy's amazing. I got some original artwork from him. He's such a cool dude, man. I love that guy.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Brian, do you have anything else to say?
About Marty King? What?
I don't know. Has the game started yet?
It has. I haven't checked it though. I'm in this.
What you have
I'm
to
right.
understand is
I'm with y'all.
Brian is class act. He's not willing to name drop as much as you are, Robbie. Okay.
Oh no, I
Robbie was so caught up in his story that he missed the bit.
I did miss the bit, and I feel like I missed something, but whatever it is.
Name.
Yeah.
What? What's the name?
Drop.
Name drop.
Oh shit, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. He's cool. Brian, final fucking rapid fire. Y'all making fun of me? Wait, y'all making fun of me? I feel like Jeff Goldblum right now in The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai.
We got an update on the score in the chat.
Oh no!
Woo! Wow! Well, already it's 10-7. Shit, we okay? Rapid fire, Brian, go.
Hey, we got a touchdown. I bet that was defensive though. So we don't score a lot on offense. I want to start with 2 covers of the week. Both of these are comics that I wasn't getting, but the artists that were doing the variants, I wanted to get them. So this is Cyberpunk 2077. I don't know what issue number it is, but it's Jeffrey Allen Love, who I saw at Heroes Con last year and just was really intrigued by his art. So this year I went up to him and man, he's a great dude. And man, he's got a lot of like art books and a couple of like big graphic novels. He did the cover for the Lighthouse Arrow edition, which is pretty dang dope. Which came with a print like this size of it.
We hung out and got shit-faced with him at the bar then. Oh no, that was me and Chris from Lost in Comics. You weren't there, were you? No,
I was getting the room key. Yeah. See? I'm shameless about it. No problem. I haven't met this person.
He's like, I was like, yeah, we met that dude, man. And he was like, that's Jeffrey Allen Love.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, we were hanging out with him.
Yeah, where were you? So
I shared an elevator with Garth Ennis, just so you know.
Yeah.
Nice. We shared one with the Simonsons multiple times.
Yeah, that's true.
And my buddy was wearing a New Mutants 98 shirt, which was very fucking awkward because Walt pointed it out. That's the issue that got Louise Simonson fired.
Yeah.
Mutants. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He goes, what's that issue? Never heard of it.
Nice.
Sorry, Brian.
Okay. The other cover is the Hellboy robot one.
Yeah.
The cover is Jeff Darrow.
Yeah, it's so good.
Nice.
And I read this issue. I actually read the other one too. I actually dug it. Now I need to get issue 1. I don't know why I passed on Giant Robot Hellboy in the first place. I'm not sure what happened there. I don't feel good about myself on that one.
I think the cover's better than the story, to be honest with you.
Well, it's still fun.
Yeah, it's still Mignola. Yeah, it's still all right.
I mean,
yeah.
Like,
That's
I like
me,
the
like
art in it,
you
too.
if you're nitpicking the story behind Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, then I'm like, bro, come on, man. You guys just gotta let that shit go. Man.
It's a Hellboy story, so it's all right.
Yeah. And then this Star Wars Visions from Peach Momoko. I couldn't tell you exactly what happened. It was cool, but it was gorgeous, man. It was just page after page of just gorgeous Peach Momoko art, and I like these Star Wars Vision stories for the most part and everything like that. So I'm looking forward to the next one too. But yeah, really dug this one. And then I was gonna do two more, but what's the furthest place from here? This is issue 16, and this was, I would say, maybe a little exposition heavy, but I think it was good. I mean, it really, explained a whole lot more of what was going on and everything like that. And so I feel like maybe it's tapering towards the end. Maybe this might be the last arc. It has that feel, but this is one of my this creative team created 4 kids. 4 kids walk into a bank.
Yeah,
which I highly suggest you go out and seek out. It's a Black Mask, I think, book. That's how I learned about both of them, and they're just true comic book fans creating the coolest stuff, man. I don't know. This is a great series. And then last one I wanted to bring up, I think, the Outsiders, kind of a return to Planetary, and I'm very excited about this. I've got questions galore from it, but thought the dialogue was great. I mean, I was nervous for a new Planetary book.
Quick question involving that one. One thing I've wondered about that one is Luke Fox Batwing in that one, or is he the Fox?
I mean, he's in the white suit the whole time.
He's Elijah Snow in it.
Yeah, he's like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there was something that Stephanie Phillips did in the Harley Quinn run that I really liked that I wish they would continue. So I was just curious.
No, he's not a superhero in this one at all.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of pulling back from all that.
Okay.
For this.
It's very much Planetary. They're mystery archaeologists.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and nobody knew who Planetary was in Planetary, right? So I mean, it's trying to capture that same feel where they're in the universe, but they're almost like neutral observers in a way, but not because they're actively involved. So
it's a really great book.
Yeah, looking forward to this one.
I was very, very pleased with that book. It really got me super hyped. Speaking of getting me super hyped, Stu, my hype man, come on, dude, get to the mic. Tell us your rapid fire.
Right. Since we're talking covers and Jason Saw and Alexander, I got to start with these connecting Dracula ones. Just incredible.
Yeah, they're so good.
Holy shit, that is gorgeous.
Absolutely, and also Marvel. Sorry.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Oh my god, that's beautiful.
Are they wrestling? What's going on there? I don't understand.
He's tickling her.
That's what Mom and Dad used to call it.
He's tickling her on the neck. That's all.
And then this one's incredible. Marvel, can you Virgin variant me though? Come on. What do I got? Why do I have the banner for the Marvels at the top of this unbelievable Dino Dune cover? I mean, there was so much hype around this one. I wish we got more options. Beautiful nonetheless. As far as comic books, Sacrificers #4. This continues to be one of my favorite books on the shelves. I just thought this was a great follow-up to 3, where we see the hammer really drop on those kids. Fiumara's artwork has been amazing. I think the emotive faces that he's able to do with the kids, the look of the gods, the whole character compositions, the whole thing's been incredible. Also, Fish Flies #3. I really love this book. Kind of giving me Essex County vibes with the sci-fi, sci-fi element to it. But this has just been so fantastic. Jeff Lemire, doing
it's on my list.
Art, doing what he does best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want to go through and take everybody's books, so I'm just going to go one more.
No, that's the point of the show.
Yeah,
I know,
the point of the
but
show is to leave the last person with nothing, and they have to.
Don't worry, Carrie's going to steal all mine.
I only feel good when I see Robbie scratching stuff off.
You have already taken Dracula from me, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, I didn't even scratch Dracula off yet. Okay. We just want to leave the last person, I guess, which is me, with just Deadpool 7 slaughters, right? That's all we want.
There you go.
Okay, well, real quick, I'll just go 2 more real quick. Void Rivals #6, the end of this arc. Fantastic world building.
Look at Greg going.
This one's been amazing. Yeah, it sucks that we have to wait till March, but like, you know, in Kirkman we trust, obviously a great builder of thought out worlds and
show that next book. Let's see what you got, Stu.
Real quick.
Yeah, just take another one.
Back to Mark Russell with Rumpus Room number 3.
All right.
All right.
Damn, you fucked Greg up, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry.
You are messing up Greg's whole point of view here. Like, you know.
I got like 4 more books, but I don't want to do that, so I'm going to call it there. But that's my rapid fire.
Yeah.
Well, and now Carrie's the DC fan, so go ahead, Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie, why don't you kill off the rest of Greg's rapid fire?
Greg's just happy to be here.
Oh golly, I'm gonna go straight for it. I'm gonna try not to do that to you. But here we go. All right, let's get into it with some DC. You mentioned it, Catwoman. Right after the Gotham War story, we have the return of the Selina has been dipped in purple goo costume. And yeah, I love this. And the one thing I can say about this is if you've been reading Tini Howard's storyline like I have, I really love the Tini Howard Catwoman, but I don't like Tini Howard's, well, I'm okay with it, Harley run. And I wish she could write Harley like she writes Catwoman. It's so good. And this is basically like she's keeping the cat issue because she's supposed to return Duchess to Duchess's owner, and she's keeping the cat because she's like, screw you, I'm keeping the cat. We were all worried about this one, and I don't think we really needed to be all that worried about it because this is not that bad. It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
You know?
Where's Billy?
Yeah,
right now,
Billy, where are you at? Let's talk about Transformers 301. My first Transformers book.
That's G.I. Joe, Carrie.
That's G.I. Joe.
I'm not trying to mansplain you, but that's G.I. Joe.
Did I say Transformers? That's because I'm going to say it next. G.I. Joe 301. I thought I was, it's my first G.I. Joe. I thought I was going to be lost as fuck, but Larry Hama holding it down, explaining everything in a tight way so that I can enjoy the rest of the issue and probably enjoy 302.
And Chris Mooningham's artwork, fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my god, and I loved it because like I did this little like video on my channel about like the artwork and the book as a whole, and I talked about how his use of line work does so much. So many different things.
He did a book with Frank Barberi called 5 Ghosts that everybody needs to read because that book should have continued. 5 Ghosts is amazing.
Transformers, do I need to really tell you guys why Transformers is good?
Nope.
No.
Duke, a G.I. Joe in Transformers.
Duke.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah.
By the way, I've read Duke #1. Yeah, you might as well get in on that because that book is fucking dope. It's so awesome. It's one of the best Josh Williamson's #1s.
I grew up like Josh Williamson and all of them like talked about when they really said that they were getting this. I grew up watching Transformers, G.I. Joe, all that shit. So like my basis for it is cartoons, but still I am in love. I'm in love with this.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get to like next year and all these 3 titles are all like Void Rivals, G.I. Joe, and Transformers are all playing off each other.
Yeah, they're all connected.
Like I can't wait till we get some of that. It's gonna be so cool.
Let's talk Tenement by Jeff Lemire.
Yes.
Jeff Lemire has this way in practically everything I read by him of keeping me completely riveted, but yet confusing the fuck out of me and not explaining a dick. But I'm still in it.
That's exactly what this series is, though. That's a great way to describe it.
And you could go ahead, you could clip that out if you want to, Robbie, put it on your channel. Because Jeff Lemire has this way of explaining absolutely nothing but keeping me riveted. He's explained dick, but I'm totally into it.
I felt like we were getting somewhere. We just fell further down the rabbit hole, I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is really awesome. This is Tinian doing kind of his answer to the Silent Night, Deadly Night, kind of idea of Santa, killing everybody. Let's see here. And this series ended. It was really cool how it ended. I love Jason Todd. Let's see here. Is there anything else I can ruin for Greg. You know what? I'll leave the rest for him.
You know,
all right.
Robbie. I'm just really excited that we've really stuck to our rapid fire time frame.
You know what? It doesn't matter, man.
We had some extra time. We're good.
I'm down to only 4 left on my list. So let's see if Greg can wrap out the rest. And introspect, like I put in DWJ, as far as I'm aware, what I heard from him directly, 12 issues for sure of Transformers art by him. So
you know, I'm gonna go one DC that we have not talked about enough yet. Kelly Thompson's Birds of Prey, issue number 3 has been this series has been great. I haven't read a lot of Birds of Prey, but good golly, the art style, the coloring of this, it's beautiful. It's fantastic. If you aren't reading it, read it. This was a really interesting one. The Holy Roller with Rick Remender, Andy Samberg. And you know, it was a thick issue. And you know, it's dealing with a lot of heavy stuff, especially like the timing that it came out with anti-Semitism and stuff right now going on in our world. But it also it's heavy, but it also is very light. Like you can tell it's Andy Samberg comedy in there. It reminds me a lot more of Rick Remender with the scumbag kind of stuff. So it's heavy topics, but it's done in a, you know, the only way that you can have where a guy can hit someone with a bowling ball as a vigilante and literally just basically kill people. Because if you get hit with a bowling ball, you dead.
You did.
So the Schlub issue number 4, I'm loving this, from Kenny Porter, Ryan Stegman, Freaky Friday superhero kind of thing. It's fun. The art by Terrell Cannon, who did Beef Bros, is so good. So, and then I'll do 2 more. We'll see. So, Devil Wears My Face issue number 2 from Pepos Cormac, Face Off and Exorcist. This was such a cool series. It's really so good so far. And then
it is like Face Off, bro. Face Off meets The Exorcist, dude. There's the fucking 2 movies put together that David Pepose likes to do, right? Yeah. It is Face Off. That's awesome. I can eat a peach for hours.
Yep. And then the last one I'll say is I was hesitant about bringing this character into this world, but I kind of really liked how they did it. So I'm going Philadelphia. I think it's 31.
Jay is so happy right now. Jay, I hope you're still watching.
I know Jay would be very happy with that. So I did that for you, Jay. But
how did it work? How did it work?
I liked it. So now I think what's going to be interesting is when they bring in Savage Dragon. I don't know how that's going to work, but this worked. It because of the whole dealing with hell that they're doing throughout the series. So and Jay's still here. So there you go.
He's still there.
Oh, there he is.
Well, you knocked out one of my remaining 4 books for my rapid fire, which was Holy Roller, which I absolutely love. So my rapid fire is this: Blood Commandment number 1, Simon Kudronsky. Love that book.
Nick already knocked that out.
Nick did
it. Nick did it. Next.
Good book. All right, so I got 2 left. Petrol Head.
I know that
mention that one?
I know that was
good.
But
I heard great things about it.
Yeah.
It's a really good book.
Yeah.
It came out in a light week, so it kind of got the highlight for pick of the week, but it was a really good book. I love the coloring. I love the momentum and the high energy of it. Are y'all trolling me? Did Nick also say this one too?
No.
No.
All right.
Did we say that?
That's
no, I don't know. Now I feel like, I don't know. I feel weird. I feel real
Don't feel,
weird.
but this is a safe place.
Okay, thank you.
Everything's good.
Petrolhead was really good though. Like Rob Williams is not, for the most part, I've actually never really liked Rob Williams' work in comics, right? But this first issue was really cool. I like, it's a common idea, like robots have feelings too. Maybe they don't carry. Maybe Batman can kill any robot and alien that he wants, or a wizard or a Nazi. But no, I really like this book. I like the world building. I loved the artwork, and it's hard for me to describe a book. Or hold on.
Is it hard for you to describe a book, Robbie?
It's hard for me to describe a book without the word nuance or dynamic or kinetic. Or bombastic or anything like that. No, but Petrolhead, to show action scenes in comics is difficult enough. To show car chases in comics is really difficult, right? And they kind of get that kind of like racing. Honestly, and I mean this in the best possible way, Petrolhead made me feel like I did in 1999 when I was watching Phantom Menace and got to the pod racing scene. Like I fucking love the pod racing scene. I don't give a shit what anybody says about that movie. The pod racing scene is badass. Petrolhead reminds me of that, which gives me another book to talk about. Drive Like Hell does the same thing. Alex Cormack, you just mentioned him in Devil Wears My Face. Dude, Drive Like Hell with Rich Douek. It's high octane. You feel the movement of the car in that one. I absolutely love it. But the last one I want to talk about is I want to give some major props to Mr. Tom King because he's killing it right now with the Penguin. The Penguin is fucking awesome, y'all. I don't give a shit. Tom King's use of structure, his use of menace and dialogue, and in the captions. In the first issue, I didn't really like it as much, but 2 blew me away. 3 was good, but 4 picks up that momentum again.
Yeah.
Tons of captions from tons of different characters, none of them from Oswald, right? And so you're not actually seeing in his head. So that's actually clever to me, right? And the structure of each issue, and I bitched and moaned about Wonder Woman 3. You could boil it down to Wonder Woman walks into an office. That's what the whole issue was. It took me like 30 minutes to fucking read that shit, right? However, Penguin issue 4 is just Penguin has a meeting, right? But man, there was something menacing about it. There was something that about this book in general where we're being played up right now to think that Penguin is menacing. He's serious, but he's not as serious as I think. If Tom can pull this off and he wraps it up in the right way, it's going to elevate Oswald to like a level that he hasn't really been at since I think Tim Burton, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And you know, Oswald is like similar to kind of like Selena's situation where like if you get someone that will like totally tear off someone's head to save you, because that's the situation Oswald's in with that one too. So they got his girl. You know, they got his bird doctor.
And he's actually building things with like the character of Oswald and like his former wife and how he has kids and this, and they're filling in those gaps. They're building up that character. And also he's referencing Batman Killing Time, which I think is one of the worst books Tom King's ever fucking written.
Yeah, that one was rough.
But
I thought issue 2 was one of the best comic books of the year so far. Like
Penguin?
When he just takes that
help
house. Yeah, that was just like
that was a great character too.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's
like
so
in this book, it's cool to see him get more developed. But yeah, issue 2 was dynamite, man.
Yeah, so I've been getting a lot of flack lately that I'm just a hater of Tom King, but no, I'm not. The Penguin is the shit. Penguin's the shit. Human Target was the shit.
Human Target was amazing.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
The problem with Tom King to me is that it's either the shit or it's just shit. Right, but
yeah,
I'm just kidding. There's nuance there. Oh, that's one of my favorite words. All right, that's the end of the show. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. This is Pop Culture Philosophers, best comics of the month monthly stream. We'll be here again at the end of December to talk about our favorite books of December to complete the whole. Like I don't know what we're going to attain when we hit 12 episodes in a row, Nick.
Just so much validation.
But it's me and you, bro. We're the only ones that've been on
every one of them.
Right?
We're gonna all reach like the level of Super Saiyan. That's what's gonna happen.
Let's do it. All
right. Links to all of these beautiful people's channels down in the description below. Please sub up if you haven't already. Nick, thank you for being here. Final thoughts.
Oh, dude, thanks so much for having me. Again, guys, Comic Book Community Awards coming out Saturday night. I think it's 8 p.m. Central, something like that. Go over on Brian LCS. Watch the sweep that Robbie's going to be doing right now with all the nominations and everything. Watch that sweep, guys. But yeah, dude, always a pleasure. So happy to be here. See you next month, dude.
I'm going to be at a wrestling match that night, so I really hope that like I just come out of there and like I have a bunch of
I'll be texting you. Yeah.
People being like, "I'm sorry, bro. Sorry you didn't win best fucking beard and hair." It doesn't. It means so much to me. Y'all. Speaking of meaning so much to me, Brian, I love you. Thank you for being here. Final thoughts.
I love you too, man, and awfully glad to be here. Yeah, I love talking comics and I love talking with you all about comics. Always learn stuff and find out about books that I miss out on, and go Hawks.
Hell yeah. Okay. No hell yeah to that one. Stu.
Too late. You can't clip that, Brian.
Yeah,
Clip it.
can't take it back.
Yeah, clip it out, bro. Stu, you came, you saw, you slayed, my man. Thank you so much for being here. You killed it, man.
Thank you guys so much
Final.
for having me. Always like hanging out with you guys. It's been amazing. I love this show. I love watching it every month. So to be on it was a real treat. But yeah, wishing you guys all the best Saturday night at the awards. You guys definitely deserve it. All you beautiful people who are nominated, who I voted for. So good luck to all y'all.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Carrie, I'm really pulling for you on Saturday, y'all. Like, for sure, I'm super pulling for you. Thank you so much for being here. Final thoughts.
Yeah, thank you for having me as always. I love being here. It's like talking to my buddies about comics, you know. It's right now with the channel, I've been kind of taking a little bit of a time out involving regularly scheduled content. I'll be back with in the new year with more scheduled content, like, and that kind of thing. But lately I've been talking with each of the Doctor Who anniversaries. I've been doing little things involving that. So if you're a Doctor Who fan, check that out. And I'm going to be doing, I think I'm going to be doing a book review soon, like a full book review, guys. Like, I read this book. Well, I'm almost done with it, but that'll be out soon too.
Heck yeah. Everybody go check her out and check out the CBC Awards on Saturday, y'all. We're really hoping that we can take home some awards for the show. Greg, I really appreciate you coming in last minute to step in for a couple of people who couldn't be here. So thank you, Bearded. We really appreciate you.
Listen, man, I'm glad to be here. I was planning to be here originally, and then I stepped away so other people could come, and then I didn't come, and now I'm here, and no, it's sad, and so I was a mess. But no, good. Thanks for having me. As always, it's fun. I'm looking forward to having one of the awards right up here, because that's the only way I'll ever get an award is vicariously through you. So I'm excited for that. So good luck.
Hell yeah.
I hope you don't win best beard because I got robbed. I'm not bitter, but I got weekly interviews that usually come out, so check out those. Although I don't have any this week or the next because I paused so I could focus in on some holiday stuff and Comic-Con stuff and the prep for an interview. So, but I promise you, the next one is going to be worth the wait. So.
Heck
Awesome.
yeah, man.
Can't wait.
Heck yeah. Everybody go sub up these channels, please. If you do one thing for me, please do that. And also say, how about them Cowboys? Very excited to get to that game. Here at PCP Land, I'll be doing Rockin Robbie Live Sunday night. Batman, Marvel in the 90s. And it's going to be super fun. And I have a very special treat that some people, like, nobody knows is coming. But it's going to be great. And you guys just wait, because Robbie and Faux Robbie are going to be talking comics. So that's going to be great. And also, Saturday or Monday night, PCP Movie Night, we continue into Holiday Horror Fest with Christmas Evil. It's available on Tubi. Go watch it. It's a great character study. If you like movies like Fade to Black, George A. Romero's Martin, or Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, what if we applied that movie structure to Santa Claus?
Ooh, okay.
So check it out.
Sounds
Christmas
intriguing.
Evil, 8 p.m. Central Time on PCP Movie Night. We appreciate you out there being here. PCP Army, we love you. Station